Hello, I'm Mrs. Charity. Welcome to the Glorious Heritage Overview of Catholic Church History. Discover the amazing story of the Church together as a family as you color and paste your way through the timeline and printables, which you can find on our website. And now, let's move into our topic for today.
Hello, I'm Mr. Charity, and welcome to the Glorious Heritage Catholic History video series. Today's topic is number 146, Pope St. Pius X. If you look on your timeline and summary question sheets, you'll notice that we are in the blue time period, which we have named Taken Away. If you don't have a timeline or summary question sheets, you can find them on our website. One of the greatest popes in church history, and certainly the greatest pope in modern times, was born as a poor peasant in northern Italy. Giuseppe Melchiorre Sarto was born in 1835 to a devout Catholic family in the decades following the French Revolution and the defeat of Napoleon. He was a good student and worked hard, eventually being ordained a priest at the age of 23. He was very good at Latin and Greek, theology, and philosophy. As a priest, he earned a solid reputation for his zeal, his loyalty to the Pope, his living a simple and austere life, and for his love of the poor, especially his efforts to teach them the Catechism. Father Sarto was eventually consecrated a bishop and then promoted to the important role of the Patriarch of Venice. Then, in 1903, Pope Leo XIII died, and the cardinals of the Catholic Church held a conclave to elect a new pope. The result of the conclave was the election of Pope Pius X, formerly known as Giuseppe Melchiorre Sarto. Pope Pius X was one of the few popes in church history that was born as a poor peasant, but he was an incredible gift to God to the Church. He was a simple man, very humble and straightforward. Pope St. Pius X took several notable actions during his pontificate, which spanned from 1903 to 1914. Before he became the Pope, children were not able to receive their first Holy Communion until they were at least 10 years old, and sometimes even older in certain dioceses. However, in 1910, Pope St. Pius X issued a papal decree that universally changed the age of Holy Communion for children to when they reached the age of reason, which is usually about 7 years old. As long as the children were well prepared and knew their catechism, they could receive Holy Communion at about 7. This was a great benefit for younger children who were able to receive our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament at a younger age. Another very important aspect of his papacy was the revision and codifying of canon law. Canon law is the law of the Catholic Church, which governs so many aspects of the Church's life. It's very important for bishops and priests, and even the faithful themselves, since canon law gives rules for marriage, the precepts of the Church, the organization of parishes and dioceses, and so much more. Pope St. Pius X took the initiative to revise the canon law to more closely accommodate the modern challenges that face the Church following the French Revolution. His revisions of canon law were finished after he died, when Pope Benedict XV finally published the new code in 1917. But the most important thing that Pope St. Pius X did is what he is best known for, and that is his fight against the heresy of modernism. Remember that ever since the Age of Enlightenment and the French Revolution, very many men and women in Europe abandoned the Catholic faith and decided to put their trust in the ideas and inventions of mankind instead of the benevolence and providence of God and the teachings of the Catholic Church. In the centuries following the French Revolution, especially in the early 1900s when Pope St. Pius X was the Vicar of Christ, these modern errors had made their way, unfortunately, even into the hearts and minds of some Catholic priests and bishops. These priests and bishops, modernists, wanted to change the Catholic Church to make it more like the modern world around them. Pope St. Pius X realized this, and he fought against this heresy with all his might. He named this new heresy modernism. So today, how about we'll watch a cartoon about Pope St. Pius X, and in that cartoon, Mrs. Charity will tell you more about this new and incredibly dangerous heresy of modernism.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Charity. Welcome to my class about Pope St. Pius X. He was the Pope, the head of the Catholic Church from 1903 until 1914. He was especially important because he fought against modernists. Let's watch his story now. There are some big words, and when we see them, I'll stop and explain them to you.
Your Holiness, I have come from France with very serious news. A very popular priest named Father Louiset is teaching people very bad things. He is saying that the teachings of the Catholic Church did not come from God. He says the Church must change to be like the world.
This is very serious. The Catholic Church was founded by our Lord Jesus Christ. Our Lord gave us the Church to teach the truth and lead us to heaven. The Church doesn't change to be like the world. Instead, the world must change to follow the Church's teachings. What he is teaching is heresy.
There are many in France who believe this heresy. Holy Father, what is to be done?
Let's stop the story for a moment. Did you hear Pope St. Pius X say the word heresy? What is a heresy? Heresy is very serious. If a Catholic arrogantly decides that the Catholic faith is wrong in some way, then that is a heresy. There have been many heresies in history, and many popes have fought against them. So let's see how Pope St. Pius X fights against this heresy.
It is my responsibility as the vicar of Christ to feed the flock of God. Therefore, I, Pope Pius X, declare that this new heresy is to be called modernism. For the sake of the Catholic faithful, this new heresy must be stopped. We must act without delay.
Pope Pius X is right now in Rome, saying that I am teaching heresy. How dare he say this? I can teach whatever I want to teach. I am not going to obey Pope Pius X. I don't think that the teachings of the Catholic Church come from God. I think they should change to be like the world. Let's see what Pope Pius X will do about it.
I'm writing this encyclical called Pascendi Dominici Gregis, which means feeding the Lord's flock. I'm going to write all about the heresy of modernism to warn faithful Catholics. Modernism is very dangerous. It is different from other heresies. If you take all the other heresies and wrap them up together, then that is modernism. That is why I am writing that modernism is the synthesis of all heresies. As for Father Loisy, he refused to stop teaching heresy, even after we warned him. Therefore, I declare him to be excommunicated. Unless he repents of his heresy, he is outside of the Catholic Church and is on the road to hell.
Pope St. Pius X is writing an encyclical, which is a special letter from the Pope. Pope St. Pius X said that modernism is like all other heresies all wrapped up into one. He said that modernism is the synthesis of all heresies. A synthesis is when you bring ideas together. Here is an example. Let's bring together the idea of a wooden box, some wheels, and a horse. The synthesis of these ideas form a horse and cart. Likewise, if you bring together all the heresies of the past, they form modernism.
My dear children, the Catholic Church teaches the truth revealed by God. Having faith means believing what the Church teaches. Without the Catholic faith, it is impossible to please God. So, let us believe the Church's teachings, please God, and go to heaven together.